adventurers, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are in Fort Worth at the Fort Worth Stockyards. I'm really excited because today I get to share with you something that has been around for quite some time, and it's just a really fun place to come, so let's go check it out. Walking around right now, we are seeing all sorts of interesting things. Now, we paid about $10 to park off of the actual Stockyard Road, so not parking in this area. You do have to pay to park, but it is well worth it because everything is a hop, skip, and jump. We already passed some of the unique Hall of Fame, which you can find. So when you're here, look up, look down, everything is going on in every direction. I'm not exploring today by myself. In fact, I have someone who has never been to Fort Worth with me. So I'm really excited to see what all we can find today. Let me introduce you to a familiar face. Brock is here. Brock is in Fort Worth for the very first time, and so far, what do you think?
I like it. It's very country, even though it's in a city. It feels country right in this little square here. So
I mean, this is one of the oldest parts of Fort Worth right here. They do a daily cattle drive, guys. That's how old it is. It's crazy, but I'm going to show you guys some of the cool things that are here and some of the interesting things that you should be looking for other than just, you know, the historic sign. On, guys, you might notice this is the first bulldogger. W.M. Bill Pickett was actually the one who originated what we now call steer wrestling, and there is this dedication to him right here in front of the Coliseum, so that's pretty cool. But also you can find some more information about the Cowtown Coliseum over here. In fact, on Thursday nights at 7:30 they have PBR bull riding. You can also find information about the Cowboys and Cowgirls because the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame is right here in the Fort Worth Stockyards area. As we approach the Coliseum, there's this cannon. It says it was actually retrieved from the San Antonio River in 1939. Wow, this cannon has been disabled, but at the same time, it would have fired a 6-pound cannonball. That is crazy. Have to go into the Coliseum. This is the best way to like show you guys some of the history here. And so into these doors we're about to go. It's early enough where we're not going to be interfering with the bull riding time, which you do have to have a ticket for. But this, I think we can just go inside and find out more, but we're about to find out. Find out that the Coliseum was actually erected in 1907, but before it was erected there was a big history here. So along this timeline you can find out all the different steps of what exactly brought them to this area. As you go through here you can find historic photos of all of the different shows that they've had here, some of the special trick sessions, and then also some of the history of Cowtown in general, which is absolutely awesome. But right next to that we can actually see a glimpse into the Coliseum itself, and this is where they do the PBR riding. Coliseum's been used for a lot of things though, not just the Cowboys and Cowgirls. In fact, there have been live performances here as well. So along these walls you can find some very interesting people, including a few people that might stand out, like Elvis over there. And you can also see some lyrics that were actually sung and used throughout this area, all about Cowtown, which is kind of cool, but I really like this. And then just past that we can go down here, and this is where the Hall of Fame is actually located. In fact, right over there. So while we're here, let's go exploring just a little bit. I am very excited. Now during the rodeo time, the bars are open, they have a gift shop, they have all of this section that's also open, but right now we're just getting to roam and look around at some of the cool stuff, which is so neat. Brain wrinkles are everywhere here in Cowtown. They have cases upon cases in addition to walls upon walls of Hall of Famers, including this, which is from Bill Pickett. And here you can find not only his spurs, but also a jewel-studded bronc belt and a hand-woven rug. As a part of this permanent exhibit, Bill Pickett's saddle is on display as well in one of these cases. This is a good way that you can view some of the best while visiting. And they do have several sections of this. So certain sections are closed out during different times, but each section actually has its own placard to tell you when these people were inducted into the Hall of Fame. And so this is 97 and then 98 and so on and so forth. And this wraps around the entire bottom portion of the Coliseum. So there are hundreds of faces, both men and women, who are here. And it just keeps on going and going and going. If you're interested in seeing anything that is filmed here at the Coliseum, you can check out Pluto TV, and you can find the PBR channel, and you can watch things that are being shot from this very arena as the live bull riding is going on. And I think that's really cool also. So this is just one area that you can see live bull riding here in the Stockyards area. You can also see live bull riding over at Billy Bob's. And that is a whole different story that we still have to make our way over to in just a minute. Before we head out, look at this. This is whenever the Coliseum is completely packed out in 1941. The very Coliseum that we are looking at right now. Of course, now they're getting set up for the big ride tonight. So it looks a little bit different than whenever it's fully packed out. But it's interesting to be able to see both sides of that, even if you can't come to one of the events. Definitely worth it, and this was completely free. Found out that the store here is open, so got a patch. Looking at some of the other things, I'm very excited. Okay guys, so while we were in the gift shop, we picked up a patch, but we also picked up this, which is a film sites and trail of famous locations, and it's a map that tells you all the different movies that have been filmed here in the Stockyards, which there are several different locations. So it tells you where you're at. Like for example, we're outside of the Cowtown Coliseum, and actually Dennis Quaid starred in Tough Enough here, and also Pure Country was filmed here, so that's super cool. Okay, next up we have this just outside of the Coliseum on the opposite side. This is Red Steagle, and this was dedicated in 2019. It's a beautiful bronze. There's tons of beautiful bronzes here in the Stockyards, so definitely come and take a pause, and then make sure that you read the signage for each of these. Like each one has a quote and a little bit of information. Guys, you can even get a picture taken with the Longhorn. Isn't that fun? I don't know if Brock's gonna do that, but it's fun. Do you want to jump up on it?
I'm good.
Oh, come on.
I've interacted with many cattle in my life.
But it's a Longhorn in the Stockyards.
Black Angus, that's what I used to hang out with.
Well, we tried,
I don't
guys.
trust the ones with horns on them.
Oh, he's afraid. Okay, well, we tried. There's a Stockyard Museum at the Stock Exchange, and there's also a couple of really interesting historic markers, so let's go check those out. Apparently this is where an episode of Queen of the South was actually filmed, so that's a cool thing for film historians. There are two of these. The first one says that the Fort Worth Stockyards Company was actually created in 1893 when a Boston capitalist actually came here and led a group of investors in purchasing the Fort Worth Union Stockyards. And so that's what this sign talks about. It says by 1944 that they had over 5 million cattle head through this stock exchange, which is huge, especially back in 1944. This one actually says that this is the headquarters of one of the greatest cattle markets in the world. And by the late 1860s, Fort Worth was on the stop of the cattle trails, and the market for going west was organized by the 1870s. And it keeps on telling us more and more about the structure itself, which was erected between 1902 and 1903 to be able to house the Stockyards Company that was thriving in this area. This place is a bustling piece even during the week, so if you're coming out, make sure that you plan some time to kind of navigate around. It's also going to have a lot of interesting smells, noises. You can smell the cattle, you can smell food, you can hear country western music everywhere, and you can smell leather permeating from the buildings, which is awesome. Believe it or not, the historic office is still in use. So they have offices within these areas right here where people still are conducting business. But in Suite 113, that's where the museum itself is located. Passing through the halls of this area, the ceilings are tall, the air conditioner feels fabulous, And you never know what you're going to find as you pass by, so check out all of the different displays, and you might just be surprised what you happen upon as you're meandering. The museum itself is $2 for adults, with those 12 and under are free, and then they do have some hours on here. Monday through Saturday, they're closed on Tuesday, but they have additional summer hours, which actually have them here from Memorial Day to Labor Day on Sunday from noon till 5 during the summer. So that's pretty cool. It's wild. This is called the Bad Luck Wedding Dress, and it says that every person who has had any interactions with this or plan to wear it has had bad luck. That's interesting. But on this table also there's some other information, including some of the different items, such as Oakwood Cemetery, where they have something called the Saints and Sinners Tour. And then also they have the mission statement for the Historical Society and the world's second longest burning light bulb is right here inside the museum. Inside the museum, there are a variety of different unique items, including chairs, saddles, historic photos, some really unique things. I'm just going to touch on a few of these, and maybe we'll come back and do an in-depth video at some point, but I just want you guys to get an overview of what you can find inside. Wow, look at all of these points. This is interesting. They have a model of the actual stockyards and what it would have looked like, but then they also have this, which is a variety of different newspaper clippings and pieces that highlight the various points of some of the things that have happened here in the stockyards, and there's an entire book. This is incredible. This is so incredible. I could spend hours in here, so like I said, I may end up coming back here to do a more in-depth video for you guys, but since this is an overview of everything in the stockyards, ooh, this is just so neat. A display about black cowboys and code talkers and the women who have been in rodeo and things like that. So it's very interesting to not only see the history of this area, but also the people who have been in this area. So as I kind of look around, it's almost overwhelming how many cool details there are inside this small museum. How we saw Bill Pickett. Well, they actually have a display here about Bill Pickett, and a lot of people have said a lot of things previously on my channel about how the first cowboys were the white hat cowboys, but in reality they were the everyday guys who were getting out there and getting their elbows dirty, and they made sports of this that turned into rodeo. Now Bill Pickett actually represents a very unique group of people who created something new through the sport of bulldogging, and he was a black cowboy. And so here you can find a ton of information about the legacy of black cowboys right here in Fort Worth. And another thing that I really like about this is that there's actually a black riding group that's still here in Fort Worth that celebrates and honors his tradition even to this day. So there's tons of cool information that you can get just walking through this area. But like I said, there's a lot. So we're gonna have to dive into some more of that on an upcoming video. I can already see it now. Also something pretty cool that relates to another location here in the stockyards. This was a Silver Spur Award that was given to John Wayne. Now, in the stockyard, you'll find the John Wayne Experience, which is a very unique museum experience that you can go into that's right here in the stockyard area close to the Coliseum. You can imagine with the stockyards and all of the beef that's moving through here, they had to have packing, and so we continue to see through various exhibits along the walls the packing industry. Swift packing became huge here, and so there's a lot of very interesting displays, which I'm going to show you a little bit of one of them, of some of the things that they created right here. super fun. I might come back and do that in-depth video for you guys just to highlight the museum because there's lots of good details in there, but I want to be able to capture them a little bit better. So for now, I picked up a couple travel books for the state of Texas since I'm going to be here a little bit longer, and we're exploring the rest of this building to see if we can find a viewing area where you can see the Longhorns. We found out we're going to be here around the time that they're moving them today. They move them today at 4 o'clock through the downtown. Whew, it's definitely smelly over here. This is where the stalls are for the animals. Stinky, stinky. Heading toward the Fort Worth herd, which you can actually go up here and observe some of the herd that they bring down through the downtown area. Hey, here we are, and they actually have all of the steers' names here, and you can see what they look like. So it asks you to find the steers. This is open 7 days a week from 11:30 till 4, and right out beyond this, there they are. These particular Longhorns right here are very well respected, and they take their little daily walks a couple times a day through the stockyards, but also these are part of the herd that you can take pictures with at the various points. And at any point you can come out here and hang out with them, and it's just a really interesting way to get up close but not too personal with a Texas Longhorn. Now, if you're not familiar with a Longhorn, the difference between them and a regular cow is the size of the mass of the horns themselves. So as you can see, these guys, as we get a little bit closer, you don't want to catch the side of one of these horns. It would not be fun. At the same time, they're not hopping around being crazy like some of the bulls that you see in the rodeo part. They're just kind of chill, laid back, and it is what it is. You can also make donations to help maintain the grounds, or also sponsor a steer individually. So that's something kind of cool, and they have QR codes kind of around this area to do that. So, Brock,
Yes.
what do you think about the Longhorns here?
They're pretty cool, but if you also look out to the Fort Worth herd, you'll also see the Fort Worth pigeon herd.
Yes, 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 there are pigeons here. I don't think that they have nameplates though, like the herd themselves.
They're here every day, so maybe they should.
The big guy, he's moving for us.
They don't like the flies, they're trying to get the flies off.
Here we also have some other interesting things. They have the switcher for the railroad, and this would have spun around. I'm not sure if it still works or not, but over there we have the panel maze, and then somewhere over here is also a petting zoo. So lots of fun stuff for all ages, and this is just one tiny little piece. This place is huge and filled with stuff. The more that we walk around, the more that I discover has changed since the last time I was here, and that's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna keep on going and sharing with you guys. We're gonna do a little bit of shopping. There is actually a trading company here, so this is the first of many stops, but there's a lot of different shops here. Everything from like designer things to like touristy things and everything in between. Going to the tea shop here. I'm in trouble. These all smell so good, but I think I'm gonna get one of these. It just is calling to me. I I found a place to get loose tea, which makes me so happy. In the meantime, I lost Brock. I can only imagine he's wandering around somewhere. Just don't know where. So I'm gonna look around for a minute, then I'm gonna call him, I guess. Okay, so far no Brock, but there's lots of good shopping here, including some more information about the Longhorn herd. And then this store, you can actually come in and get your own Texas signs, which is kind of cool. I always tell you guys to look up and look down, but the very bricks that you're walking on here are actually historic as well. So this makes this even more interesting. And I did find Brock. I know where in fact he is. He was at the leather shop. So we'll see if he found anything he wanted. What did you find?
I got myself a hat, but I really wanted to buy either a squirrel or a raccoon in there. I just can't afford it right now.
Like a pelt or a taxidermied one?
Taxidermy.
Oh my, oh my. Ooh, there's his hat, guys. He's officially a Texan now? Are you a Texan?
I was born Texan.
You were born Texan. I don't think that's a Texas accent, sir. We're just gonna let you have a pass on this one. This is very Stockyards of this. In fact, at one point in time, whenever I got my van, I thought about putting some Longhorns on it.
Are you trying to copy me? They're the exact same thing.
You aren't from Texas. You can't do that. You need to put like some random other thing on there. Apparently this has been paraded around and used for a variety of different things. And now it's here in this area. You know? It's interesting. They have a party going on over here. They have some music going, they have entertainment, they have games like cornhole, and anybody can join, so that's kind of cool too.
Oh yeah, we're having a little bit of a party this afternoon. We got some stuff going on up here at the hill. The Shriners, by the way, they want you to participate. Get up there, get yourself up there. Little meet and greet. We're gonna have the gunfighters gonna be up there. We got some cocktails.
It's time. They're coming. They start off at the far end of the road and they walk all the way up this way. So we can see them. Now this is a small herd of about 15 to 17 Longhorns, and they were just telling us what that would have looked like back in the day. It would have been like a mile of seeing this. This is a very small herd in comparison, but super cool. Super fun, really neat. Have to see that. It happens at 11:30 and 4 every day. Look though, we're on our way to Billy Bob's, and this is that John Wayne experience I was telling you guys about. Really cool stuff, and it looks like they're doing some more work down here, or they're doing some improvements, so this should be fun. But off to Billy Bob's we go. Pulling up to Billy Bob's here, and this is where Necessary Roughness was actually filmed on our little film guide. But world's largest honky tonk. I have been here several times to see music, including whenever I saw Darius Rucker here. I saw B.B. King when he was here. I've seen Willie Nelson. I've seen a lot of Red Dirt Country, and you know, they host some really big names, and the tickets are pretty reasonable, so that's something to think about. As we get close to the door, the Texas Trail of Fame continues with Marty Robbins and Leon Rush and Don Edwards and Hank Thompson, and it just keeps going and going. We end up way over here by the door with Michael Martin Murphy, Pam and Billy Minnick, which I've actually met Pam, super nice woman. Whenever I had my newspaper, she knew my boss, and so I got to talk to Pam numerous times. One of the most kind people I've ever seen. This got the best history lesson of Billy Bob's ever. Believe it or not, they actually use this for many things other than just the world's largest honky tonk. In fact, at one point they built like actual planes that were used in the war in this building, and then it became known also for the cattle building because they would put all the cattle in here. It served as a department store at one point, and it has 2 world records that are associated with it for the most shots that were ever bought, and that was Merle Haggard. And then they also have the most beer that was ever bought, and yeah, so that's kind of cool. But behind me, this is like their very own claim to fame. Each one of these has an artist. You can see their handprints, and then you can also see a QR code to find out a little bit more. So interestingly enough, I was here when this one was done. Darius Rucker, this was a concert that I came to, and that was in 2008. So I definitely remember that when it was awesome. I didn't see Bret Michaels in the same year, but I was going to come to that concert. They have all sorts of great concert lineups, and just sometimes, you know, it doesn't work out for you to make it to all of them. But let's take a look at a few more of these. It's pretty funny because it's actually a face and feet also. This is Trick Pony. Lucy is here. That's super cool. Tons of Desert and Vince Gill. Ringo Starr. Wow. There's Waylon Jennings right here, and I just recently went to the grave of Waylon Jennings, so this is a full circle moment right here. Willie Nelson. Oh my gosh. Like, my hands are about the same size as Willie Nelson's hands. That is crazy to me. Definitely see when people have a massive amount of people who follow them. This is Johnny Cash right here. And you can see that both he and Willie were coated in kisses. The thing is, once you scan over these, it tells you the history of the person with Billy Bob specifically. And so this is what comes up whenever I look up like Johnny Cash. Check this out, tons of cool information. Each one has their own bio. I love this. This has been upgraded since the last time I was here, and this is a feature that I definitely think is well worth it. Now, a couple other facts about Billy Bob's before we go inside. There's over 80 different stops in here that you can make that have lots of interesting things, to say the least. There's pool tables, there's bars, there's a restaurant, there's live music, there's bull riding, there's photo ops, there's a gift shop, and so much more. And just this one hall alone is like a who's who of country music and other music as well. But I am loving every minute of this. Some of the backstage passes, and there's a QR code here that you can actually learn more about the Backstage Pass experience and all of these different people who have been here. The gift store before we go eat, found a patch and so many more things. So many cute branded items. Guys, so this is where they do the bull riding here at Billy Bob's on the weekends. Brock's checking it out. They also have some of the who's who kind of around this area, and you can find them. Now, if you want to come out for the bull riding, it's $6 in addition to if there's a door cover or anything like that. But definitely something I highly recommend. I've seen this a few times here, and it's just super, super cool. And in fact, Tuff Hedeman is actually somebody who has been on the scene for quite some time, and he has a pretty nice display here. If you're familiar with the movie 8 Seconds, you probably already know who Tuff Hedeman is. He's the guy who was friends with Lane Frost, the bull rider who actually passed away. And in order to honor him, he stayed on the bull not only for his ride, but for his friend's ride. And it is just an incredible story. If you ever get the opportunity, watch the movie 8 Seconds, and that is based on a real life person. In fact, Lane Frost is buried in Hugo at a cemetery that I visited previously. Definitely encourage you guys to get out there and watch the movie and then go pay your respects. I have the guitar bar back here, which is pretty cool. It's just one of the mini bars that they have, and it's not running right now, but you can see nice big open space in this area also. Fan of all the neons here at Billy Bob's, but also they have costumes that have been worn. In fact, this was worn by Reba, and then they have another one over here that was worn by Dottie West. So this is like a museum meets a honky tonk meets a restaurant meets a rodeo. It's an interesting place like no other, and even if you don't like alcohol, you can come here and you can see all of this iconic history, and just come during the day instead of during the evenings. It's no big deal. Guys, we decided that we weren't going to eat there, we're going to eat somewhere else, so I'll show you what that looks like in just a couple minutes. But wow, so many cool things in there and some great memories. Again, I've been here a few times and checked it out whenever they were having the live music, and it's just been fabulous. But I wanted to show this to Brock because, again, world's largest honky tonk, but more so some of the things within that, museum quality, super awesome. And I really like that it's accessible to us all during the day so that you can go in and just view it as a museum, which is really, really cool. But off to find some food. We're starving at this point, which is something I didn't think I was going to say because we had a huge breakfast this morning. But it'll help if we sit down for a minute. It is a muggy day here in Texas. Hey guys, we went to Cattleman's. Cattleman's is a staple here on the main road here in the Stockyards. Now, a couple things. It has been open since 1947, but was recently bought out by the directors of Yellowstone. So all of the beef that will be served up here at the famous Cattleman's will actually be coming from the Yellowstone Ranch area. So that's kind of cool if you're a person who's been following the show. But with that, I'm so full. We're heading out to the van. It is hot, 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 and in the van it's 114, but we made it back, which means it's time for some good old Texas AC. With that said, Brock, did you have a good time today?
I had a fantastic time. Thank you for bringing me along or dragging me along or whatever it is that you did.
I made him come out. He had to see it.
It was great. It was far more than I expected, actually. I didn't expect such a huge thing. It really blew me away.
And we just scratched the surface. There's so much more.
And you know what else blew me away?
What's that?
The heat.
Oh yeah, the heat has been real. In fact, if you are coming to Texas during the summer months, prepare for the heat because it's unlike anything that you'll experience anywhere else. Brock here is used to it in Arizona where it's very dry. This is not that, guys. The humidity is real. But remember guys, we're not here for a long time, but we are here for a good time. I hope you've enjoyed coming along with me to the Fort Worth Stockyards. It has been so fun watching the cattle, going to some famous places, and finding out where some interesting things have been filmed. But I left a lot for you guys to explore, so let me know if you've been here and what you thought of the Fort Worth Stockyards. Till next time guys, bye!